What does a pie have to do with personal injury claims? My name's Gemma Bunner from Shaw Bunner Legal. I'm coming to you from the kitchen today because I wanted to use the humble pie as a way to demonstrate the different heads of damages that can be claimed in a personal injury claim. Now, I'd love to be able to say that I've prepared a glorious pie for the purposes of demonstrating, but I'm a better lawyer than I am a baker. So no pie today as such, but I'm going to use a diagram for the sake of the exercise. So here is our humble pie. And I'm going to preface this video by saying that different areas of personal injury attract different heads of damages. So different things can be claimed subject to what sort of injury it may be, whether it's a motor vehicle accident, a workers' compensation claim, and depending on where you've sustained that injury, or it could be a slip and fall, for example. So keeping in mind this is very general advice. What we look at firstly is non-economic loss. So for general terms, pain and suffering. So let's say this is about this part of the pie. Call it non-economic loss. Then we look at economic loss, both past and future. Now, depending on the age of the person, the future economic loss can sometimes be the largest part of the pie. So for the sake of today's exercise, I'm going to assume that we have someone, say in their early 40s, that has around 20 plus years of working life left. So we firstly look at their past economic loss. And then we look at their future economic loss. Now, of course, the government puts in place lots of different formulas that we have to apply to calculate future economic loss. But for the sake of the exercise, it can generally be the largest part of the pie if you have a younger worker. We then look at medical and treatment expenses. So let's say we look at the past. And then we also need to account for the future. Now, what these expenses are really depends. The past can often be calculated based on what the out-of-pocket expenses have been to date. And the future medical expenses will largely be dependent on what the doctors say the person will need into the future in terms of treatment needs and care. Now, when we talk about care, I'm referring to domestic care and assistance. So this can often look like friends or family or paid individuals coming into the home to care for an injured person, whether it's domestic assistance around the home, yard maintenance, those sorts of things. And that sort of makes up the rest of our pie. So if we look at past domestic assistance and future domestic assistance. So it's a very general overview of the different types of damages that can be claimed in a personal injury claim. And subject to the matter, some of these pieces of the pie can be bigger. For example, future economic loss. If we have a client who is in their early 60s, then the future economic loss is going to be much smaller. Now, non-economic loss, so our pain and suffering, that's really dependent on the individual and their circumstances. And we often look at a percentage as compared to a most extreme case. So where does that person sit on a scale of 0 to potentially worst case scenario, such as paraplegia, quadriplegia. So that piece of the pie could be a bit bigger as well. Hopefully that provides a bit of an overview of how we deal with damages in personal injury claims. Different types of claims are different in terms of what can be claimed, but if you have questions and you need advice, reach out to the team at Shaw Bunner Legal.